Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second edition of our Big Brother podcast, webcast. We're still kind of working through that. We're also working on a name. Current tentative name is Big Bother, but I don't know how I feel about that, so I'd like to know how you feel about it. We're not attached yet. I'm Courtney.
I'm Akbar.
And we have thoughts on Big Brother, even though there's not a Big Brother tonight. So what's new in Big Brother?
Oh, well, this year we thought we'd talk a little bit about their new big twist. Their twist right now is BB Roadkill. Those of you who've been watching it are familiar. The basic shtick is every week there is some competition involving an RV. This week it was some deal with taking off your outer clothes while pushing down 3 buttons. And the winner...
No one got naked.
No one got naked.
Not in the roadkill part. Maybe on the live feed later.
Yeah, I mean, what's Big Brother without a little bit of, pixelated nudity?
Right.
Actually, that's technically already there. Anyway, so then they go through, they do whatever. And then basically somebody gets, this hidden ninja, secret head of household power where they can just sort of secret nominate someone on the block without having to publicly do it. So nobody knows who actually did it.
As Bridget would say.
Yeah, pretty much. So how do we think that's going to play out this year?
Wow, that's a good question. But I think before we do that, it's important to note that this twist is not as new and exciting as Big Brother would make us believe this year.
Heresy.
That's right. They are out of new twist. This looks a lot like the camera starts moving. It's because the cat has become very interested in the computer. So anyway, BB Roadkill looks a lot like season 11's coup d'etat. If you've watched Big Brother, you've probably never heard that phrase. That's because it was usually called the coup d'etat or something else like that. Thanks, Jordan, for these words. That's an actual tale. So anyway, the way it went down in season 11 is kind of similar. They had a competition in which they competed for this power, but they didn't do it multiple times in the season, just the one time or maybe two. It kind of depends on who the producers are favoring at the time. And the person not only won the power to take someone down, they could also name the replacement nominee. So Jeff ended up using the power. He was on the block. He took himself down in what we now fondly refer to as a dick move because Shima, who had been planning multiple weeks for Jeff to leave the house, it did not work out. Jeff took himself off the block. Shima melted down, the biggest meltdown in Big Brother history. And that...
Second biggest.
What was the first biggest?
She didn't headbutt anybody.
She
Russell?
She didn't headbutt anybody.
Yeah.
But she did have a pretty big meltdown. So anyway, let's just kind of keep season 11 in mind as we're going through this. Because we've seen this play out before, but a little bit differently, remember? Because Jeff he actually did have to stand up and say, I have the power. What's different this time is you do not have to declare you have the power. So now, what are your predictions for how they're going to use it?
My prediction is it's going to last for about 3 weeks before the producers decide it's a failed experiment, because I think what's going to happen is the same people are either going to be put up week after week because, they're easy and they're big targets, and it might make for something kind of entertaining, but I think what you're going to find is that the fan favorites are going to keep getting these backdoor shiftiness pulled on them, and it's going to be them fighting for vetoes. Plus, the 3-way vote, I predict, is going to come up weird at some point.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see it not lasting the whole season. And what's a little bit weird right now, too, is there are really no secret alliances. All the alliances are either, I think, kind of completely out there and obvious, or they're totally fake ones like Bridget and the other girls. And they're just in an alliance because they're playing Big Brother. They don't actually know what their alliance does, except Han. So I think we're going to start to see people be very obvious when they get the power. I don't think we're going to see a lot of secret power and trying to keep things to themselves. We should probably also point out that this is the 4th twist that has been introduced within 3 episodes. So at this point, the producers are just kind of flinging things out and seeing what sticks.
Which is what they do most years anyway.
It is.
We're perfectly honest about this.
It is. So I'm going to say this one goes away when the teams break up, which the teams will inevitably, get dissolved and they'll start playing it as individuals.
Teams have a super short shelf life. They're 4 teams of 4 people apiece. So it's going to happen.
So those are our thoughts today on the Big Brother Roadkill. Of course, we've only seen it just with the person selected. We haven't seen how this is actually played out in veto and actually played out in an eviction. So we will of course come back with our thoughts on whether we were right or wrong. And yeah, if you guys have a question or comment, leave them below, and we will be happy to. That actually works. That actually works. And we will be happy to answer them. Good night.